Okay, so hopefully this is working. Hi. So this is going to be a short, hopefully-ish, introduction on how to use a system or a program called OBS, which is Open Broadcaster Studio, to use the Facebook Live streaming function. So just quickly, I'll just point out that I'm actually recording now using OBS Studio, which can also be used for streaming. So some of the things will be slightly weird because when I show you the streaming functionality, it'll also be recording at the same time, so it'll maybe look a bit strange. Anyway, so we'll kind of crack on. So if I bring into there we go, into the desktop thingy now, we can see this is the internet you'll be familiar with. So to stream live on Facebook, here is a Facebook page. Here is a test group that I've set up to do this into. So if you wanted to live stream to this group, you kind of click on where you're going to maybe make a message or Facebook post or whatever. And then down at the bottom here, it says add to your post. Click on the three dots for more, and then click on the live video. And this will bring up this page, which is slow to load. Just, yeah. There we go. So there are a number of ways that Facebook allows you to stream live. You can just use the camera on your computer and just the Facebook software. So you could go use camera here, and of course it doesn't work. I have no idea why it's not working. I think there are issues with various browsers and whatnot with the way that Facebook likes to have things set up. So that's a problem for starters. The other problem is that this functionality, just using the camera, would be just you kind of showing your face and talking with like the which I mean is fine if that's what you want to do. But there are you might want to have your face in the corner, like my face is in the corner of this thing, and show stuff as well. So you might want to show, say, some websites or a PowerPoint presentation or a video of something else. So we're going to use a bit of software that allows us to do that. So actually what we're going to need to do is use what's known as a stream key. So if you click on stream key, this will give you your stream key down here. I won't show all of it because then, you know, people will be able to steal my stream key and whatnot. But anyway, so we'll come back to that in a bit. But what we need to do is get this piece of software. So if we go to the internet and search with the Google, so you can just open broadcast something or other. So it's OBS. So just Google OBS and hopefully open broadcaster software will pop up. And download it for the Windows. So do that. And that should give you kind of this piece of software here. So what I'm going to do now is show you my version or my open broadcast software, and this will go crazy because it'll be recording and then showing stuff. So it'll go on and on forever. So beware for craziness. So I'll just move the internet off to one side. There she goes. And bring on OBS, and you can see it's kind of gone off into infinity there. There we go, make it bigness. So here is the window that I'm seeing to record this thing. Okay, and you'll see down here there's this option that I can kind of start streaming, and we'll come on to that later on. But before we get kind of into the details of kind of setting it up and whatnot. Well, actually, we'll get into the details of setting it up, but we have to basically. So this software is widely used in the streaming community, as it were, and there's lots of different settings for different kinds of. You could stream to Twitch if that's a thing you know about, or YouTube, or many other services. So we should first of all optimize the settings for Facebook. So if you go down to the bottom right-hand corner, so you might see in where all this stuff up here is, you'll see a maybe a grey thing. You won't see you yet. We'll come on to that. But go down here to settings, click on settings, and then this brings up a whole bunch of stuff. So I think we can leave general alone for now. Stream is where we'll copy and paste the stream key from the Facebook Live website before. So the first thing we need to check is the output. So what Open Broadcaster Studio is going to actually send to Facebook. So if we click on that, so I guess the things we want to check here are we're in advanced mode. Is this recording, streaming? Yeah, so first of all we want to check that our bit rate down here is at or below 4,000. So we're not going to be streaming kind of rapidly moving images and computer games. So this doesn't need to be quite very high. And I guess the lower this number is, I think the more robust the streaming will be. So I've chosen 1,500. That seems to work for me. The other thing that you might want to check is the output. I've unchecked here. Oh, it's blocked out at the moment because my actual video output is the same one, but you shouldn't be sending video to Facebook at super high resolution. So if you are recording your desktop and your desktop is kind of like a very, very big fancy pants screen, it might be trying to send high resolution stuff to that. So we're going to make sure that this number here is at 1280 by 720. Okay, so that's an important thing. So I can't. So for some reason, I have now lost the ability to uncheck and whatnot like that. Another place you'll need to maybe check that is in the. Oh, I can't change it because I'm broadcasting. That's why. So you will be able to alter this. So just check that that's at 1280 by 720, and also similarly that it makes sense that you actually just record in that kind of resolution. So make sure that these are set to 1280 by 720, 1280 by 720, and that means that the software will be doing basically less work converting or downscaling the image before sending off to Facebook. The other things to check in output is this keyframe interval. I have no idea what it does, but apparently on the internet, advice for setting up for Facebook says that this number should be 2. So make sure that that number is 2. And what else is on my list of things to do? Oh yes, settings. So the output is at 1280 by 710, bitrate 1500. Keyframe 2 and audio. So if you head over to the output on audio, just make sure that these are at no higher than 128. So I guess again we don't want to be sending Facebook too much information, otherwise it'll fall over. And again we can just make sure that our yes, the sample rate, so basically of the audio is at 44.1 hertz. I think, or you could have it at 48 kilohertz as well. If that's a thing for you. Okay, so those are the settings, so which should enable Facebook to receive your content without too much dramas. So I'm just going to OK all of that. So here we are back at the old thingy here. So the other thing that you're going to have to set up is actually what your OBS kind of studio is going to record. Okay, so to do that, you have a number of options down here and here at scenes and sources. So a scene is basically a collection of stuff that's going to be in this window that's going to be recorded and streamed off. And then within that scene, there's a bunch of stuff, and these are these sources. Okay, so at the moment you can see that I've set up a scene, and you can add a new scene just by clicking this little add thing down here. I think that works. So I could add a new scene. I give it a new name. I call it Dave. I don't really call it Dave, but call it something descriptive like right screen bottom cam. So I've got two desktop kind of screens going on. I've got one which has got lots of stuff on that might help me with the broadcast, like having Teams open and maybe PowerPoint, which I can then send to my right hand screen where everything has been recorded. Anyway, so give it something descriptive. Okay, so I'm going to right screen, something like that, and then kind of click. And I click back to that one. So it basically automatically set it up to that. So that was annoying. So then within each of these little thingies over here, scenes, you can add stuff. Okay, so one of the things that you want to be added, you're going to have to add a video capture device. Okay, and so to add that, you're going to just click on plus, and then a list will come up, and you just select video capture device, and then you select which video capture device you have, if you have many, and then it will start recording the video. You are also going to have some audio sources. So I've got two here. I've got the headset mic, which is this one, and the desktop audio. Okay, so to add these things, just click the plus here, and then say, for instance, go to audio input capture, and then create new, and then give it a name, and then when you click OK, it will then ask you which device you want, and I have two microphones. I've got an internal microphone in my computer, headset mic, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel that because I've already added those. So you can add a bunch of things there. Now, just as see, maybe you'll be noticing that the sound quality is a bit bad now. So what's happening here, which is annoying, I didn't spot this earlier, is that I have two audio devices that are recording. I've got a headset mic and this one over here. So let's just see what happens when I turn one of these off. So turn one of them off. I've seen that off. Look, oh no. And now only one of them is recording or broadcasting. So hopefully now you should see that the sound quality is a lot better. So one thing that you should check with your sound quality is that only one of these things that can produce audio is being allowed to produce audio. If that makes sense. Otherwise, it'll try and record two things at the same time at slightly different times, and the sound quality will be terrible, which hopefully you heard at the beginning there, which is good. Other things to think about is make sure that if you have one, you use an actual microphone rather than the one in your computer. You get a better sound quality by having the microphone near your head, obviously. And if you're in a room with lots of hard walls, apparently you get lots of echoey sound. So you can see behind me, I've held a blanket up over the door to try and give some more sound deadening, and I have a sofa. There. Pointing is hard in there. There's a sofa behind me. Anyway, so think about your sound quality. Do a test recording. Play it back to yourself, and then just to see if the sound is working before you kind of crack on. Now, just to point out with the recording. So when you record, that will save it to somewhere on your computer. So if you go to settings. I think is it in output or general? I can't remember where it is. Advanced somewhere there's an option. I'll just cancel that. Maybe it's in up here. File settings up here. I'm pretty sure I remember. Oh, maybe it's in recording. Yes, so settings, output, recording, the recording path. So make sure that this is somewhere on your computer that has lots of space for storing your large video files. I think when I originally set this up, it tried to record to my kind of university home drive, which kind of rapidly filled up, and then it said, no, I can't record anymore, I'm full. So yeah, so there we go. So settings, output, then check to recording, and then make sure that is somewhere that's got lots of space. Okay, cancel that. Okay, so that's the basics of this whole kind of setup and fiasco. So let's talk a little bit now about some of these things that you can add to the screen. So obviously you'll need a video source, and you can see that I've got my video source in a circle here. That's not entirely necessary. There are ways to do that. So if we go to the where's my video capture device, go up to here, click on it, and then right click to filters. What I've done is I've added this thing. So at the bottom, add. I've added an image mask blend, if that means a thing to you, which basically allows me to add a file which is basically just a black background with a white circle on it, and then that creates this crop pattern for the thing. I mean, have a play with it if you really want to. The other thing that I've got on here is a crop pad, which basically allows me to center my head a little bit and crop out the top of the image that was taken on the video. So you can add these little filters to improve your whatnots and whatnot. So I'll just close that down. Other things that you can have. So I've at the moment I've got this thing that says email details. So I've basically added a bit of text, which is pretty fancy, but I've turned it off. So with this, so if I want to at some point show this text during the live stream, I can just click on that, and you can see some text will appear. And I've set again, there's a filter to get it to scroll across the screen if that's a thing that you kind of want. Other things which might be relevant, you can also add images. So here is an image of maybe a title slide you might want to begin the presentation. And I just created this in PowerPoint and then just saved it as an image, and then I could add it as an image to my sources list. So those are things you can do to kind of set things up if you want to. I'll just get rid of those now. And actually, the image in the background, I guess you might be able to be familiar with the rocks at Pease Bay, which you can see. I'll just maybe look. There they are, the rocks at Pease Bay with some students. I just set up a slideshow in on my desktop. Yeah, there you go. There's that. So quickly, let's just get back to Facebook. So that's here. I'll move OBS back over to my other screen so I can actually see what's going on. So here we go. Here's the internet. I head back to our Facebook. So use the stream key, and then I'm using a persistent stream key. So basically, every time I want to do this Facebook streaming, I don't need to recopy that thing across. I then make sure that this is in my settings, go to here, copy that to stream, copy it into here. Again, I'm not going to show it you because then you'd be able to kind of like steal my streaming, and that would be terrible. And make sure the service at the top is Facebook Live. Okay, so if you wanted to stream to some of these other services, stream to Twitter or Twitch or YouTube, you could do, but this Facebook Live on there. So you don't need to worry about the server. You can manually enter it if you want to, but just by clicking Facebook Live, it just kind of works. Okay, so I'm going to click OK now. So that should be all fine. And then I'm just going to say start streaming. So hopefully now I'm recording this for this video that you're watching, but I'm also now streaming it to Facebook. So if we go back to the Facebook page, you can see now that it's now kind of captured at least some kind of video from the streaming service from Open Broadcaster Studio. You might want to have a look at some of these settings on the stream here. So end live video if stream stops. Okay, so let's uncheck that because we might want to, things might go wrong. We might want to try and reconnect. Allow embedding. I guess. I'm not sure if that's important or not. Unpublish after live video ends. I don't think we want that. We want to keep our video up on the website. Or leads to the Facebook group. So if you don't want that to happen, then click that, but we should probably keep that there. And then in viewing, allow viewers to rewind. Yeah, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't do that, but if you don't want them to do that, then click that. Okay. Okay, so now what we want to do is go live. Now we could have scheduled a live session, so we could I'll just quickly go through how to do that. So schedule a live video, set the date that you want to start, so and then the time, and then share it to the right group, share it to a group, and then I guess geoscience admissions test. This is just a test one, but you might want to actually be sharing it to the right one at the bottom if you make sure that happens, and then give it a title, give it something to say, select a suitable image from and then a post will appear on the Facebook group saying, hey, there's going to be a Facebook Live event, and then when it will just start. So you have to be ready and streaming when the start time is doing its thing. Anyway, so that's for the scheduling, but for now I'm just going to do a go live now. So if I click go live, so I'm now it takes some time to do its thing, get together. Okay, so I'm now streaming live to the and you can kind of see it's giving us an update of what is actually happening. Now this is a bit kind of slow and whatnot, so it's not exactly in sync with when you stay stuff. So things will be maybe a bit behind the time. So I think if I give myself some volume, so I'm now. You can see it's not. It takes some time to do its thing, get together. So it's okay. So it's now. I'm now streaming live the sound of that on, which is obviously very annoying. So the things that we could potentially do, we could have we could use a PowerPoint presentation. So if I just say I have a PowerPoint presentation here, it's on my other screen. Which so if I then make that go live. So hopefully now we can see we have the PowerPoint presentation, and you could maybe talk through the PowerPoint presentation for whatever stuff. That would be fun times. Escape out of that. We can bring in websites if we need to talk about stuff. That would be fun times, or accommodation-y stuff, or maybe even if we go to the get a new one of these, go to oceanology, Oceanology, the best, obviously the best, channel on YouTube, where you might want to show some videos of some stuff. Okay, which might be a fun thing. Will this give bigness? There we go. So now this is like, me doing an experiment. So this could be an opportunity, if we're, waiting for students to come along online and stuff like that. We could be showing one of the field trip videos or whatnot. Other things that we might be able to do is bring in things like if we need someone to talk about something for maybe the admissions office or accommodation or whatever, we could have them on a Teams chat and then just bring them in. So just drag the Teams window across, which would be fun. Anyway, so hopefully that is the. I'll just get out of this. So hopefully that's all good. And at the end of the thing, you just end the live video. Yes. End. And we stop streaming, which is fun. Oh, I've still got that on. Just turn that off. Anyway, so don't delete video and return to group. You can rate that if you want to. I think I was amazing. So yeah, go and view the post. So I'm now, and there she is. There's the recording of the thing, and it should appear up in the group thingy. So yeah, hopefully this has been useful. And have some questions, then ask them, I guess. See how this goes. And we'll have a trial sometime soon. So yeah, I'm going to stop recording now. So stop recording. I'll just bring this back. So to find out, where if you stop recording, so click stop recording, and then there's if you get a file up here, you go to show recordings, and that will basically bring up the folder where all your recordings are straight away. I find it really quite useful. Yeah. So have a play around with it, see if it works. If it doesn't work, then oh dear. Okay. Stop streaming and stop.